Really, as long as your business runs any type of vehicle, or you use vehicles for your business, most likely you're in commercial auto.
Yep. Yellow colored glasses, episode 53. So today we have Caleb Shepard on. We're going to talk a little bit about commercial auto insurance and what that all entails. It's been a little bit since we've talked about that. It's a big topic right now. Insurance in general is a big topic in the world we live in today. So, but before we get started, we're going to do our normal stuff here. So let's start with the review. So Brittany Page says we recently worked with Dustin and he had excellent customer service and attention to detail. He was very responsive and showed integrity while helping us review other insurance offers, which is rare in the day we live, or in the world we live in today. So thank you, Brittany. Reviews go a long ways. We're actually over 100 5-star reviews now.
Awesome.
So that's cool. The next stop is 200. So we're
inching closer.
We're on our way. So last little thing here. We always start off with a peek in a pit. So Caleb, before we get rolling here, man, let's go ahead and start that off with that. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go?
You can go first.
Okay. So, a peek. What has been going very well for me right now? Two things. One, we've been having a really good month at the office. This could possibly be, it's August of 2023, and this could possibly be our biggest month opening up.
Yep.
Not just on one department. So our financial services, our personal lines, our commercial lines, everything is rolling right now this month.
Yep.
So that's awesome. That's a nice peak for me. A pit is I tweaked my neck, and I think I just pinched a nerve, and Caleb's been making fun of me because I've been looking around like this.
Yeah, can't even turn your neck.
Yeah. So, but it's getting better. So, but that's
Awesome.
an inconvenience. So, what about you?
Peak. Started a new business. Trying to pursue it. Hit it hard.
Okay.
Digital marketing.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pitfall. Honestly, man, I don't know if I have any. I feel like this week's been going pretty good.
Okay. What about last week? Something you're struggling with.
Man, something
You're stressed about.
Having to get a new tire.
Okay. There you go.
That was a pitfall.
There you go.
I don't like getting new tires, and I probably had about 7 or 8 different sets of tires in my life.
Really?
Yeah, because I popped so many.
What do you hit?
Okay, not sets, but like tires.
My goodness.
Dude, it's these country roads, man.
What country roads are you driving down?
Yeah, talk to the Missouri Department.
Goodness gracious.
Dude, you come out here and fix this and make them flatter.
Dude, I've been driving probably 10 years longer than you at least.
Like 3 of those were from nails, and then a couple of them were just from hitting potholes.
My gosh, you need to be more aware, Caleb.
That's not my fault, man.
Either way. All right. God, 7 sets of tires, huh?
Yeah, man, it has been bad. I think tires, I cannot get that straight with my cars.
That's very funny. Okay, cool. Okay, well, yeah, congratulations on your new business. So, yeah, Caleb, you opened up a digital marketing company. Let's go ahead and touch on that real quick. Tell everybody what the company name is and what you do real quick.
So it's called Karma Marketing.
Okay.
Basically what I offer is just helping businesses establish a better online presence, whether that be through website design, SEO, which is search engine optimization, ads, content creation, whatever it may be, just to help boost their business and get more people to the door. So
that's awesome, man.
Yep.
Little side hustle.
Yeah, a little side hustle. Trying to help out people. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
I think you got your first client today too, didn't you?
Hopefully, I'm not sure.
It's not
Clapping sounds.
No,
I don't know.
awesome.
I just want to make sure I'm helping her out.
Yeah, man. No, that's good. I know you've been talking about it a little bit, so it's cool that you got it done and making that first step of just rolling with it.
Yeah, just trying to. It's on the side, so can't really just trying to pursue it. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. Okay, so let's just jump right into this. So, commercial auto, right?
Yep.
I know, Caleb, you've been doing this for a little bit now, specifically focusing just strictly on commercial auto.
Yep.
So, I guess kind of tell us a little bit about that. Like when we think of commercial auto, we're thinking of long haul truckers and semis and hotshot hotshot guys and things like that. But commercial auto is a very broad, term.
Yeah.
So, I guess, let's just go into that and I guess the some of the main things that we see on a day-to-day basis on guys that we're helping out.
Yeah. So, like what those processes and everything looks like.
Well, just the product itself, like the companies.
Okay.
I talk to everybody a little bit about like the most of the accounts that we're working with, like hotshot, right?
Yes.
It's like what that actually even means.
So commercial auto, it like you said, it's pretty broad. It's not like it just tackles one individual thing like long haul. Really, as long as your business runs any type of vehicle or you use vehicles for your business, most likely you're in commercial auto.
Yep.
Now for us though, we obviously targeted a little bit more specific types of trucking. Basically long haul. So hot shotters, which is basically anybody using a pickup and a flatbed.
Okay. And what does that mean? Like, so if they're using a pickup and a flatbed, what are they doing with that? Like, what are they doing? Explain that. Elaborate that.
Everyone's hauling different types of freight. So basically, they're picking up shipments and they're dropping it off a specific location and getting paid for it. That's their business.
Okay.
Now, hot shotting, I know it sounds kind of specific, but it's anyone with a pickup and a flatbed. So they could be hauling cars, building materials, really anything left and right. I mean, there's tons of different options. I mean, I just talked to a guy that was hauling, giant jet engine turbines.
Really?
That's all he ever does.
Huh.
And then we also write semis, general freight. You see the guys on the roads all the time on interstate highways. They're hauling, what you see in a Walmart, or they could be hauling pretty much anything and everything.
Okay.
But that's kind of what we tackle mainly, is anybody that's going to be crossing state lines or going long distance. So.
Okay. Is there like when you're working on all this and doing this on a day-to-day basis, is there one type of trucking or trucker or a certain account that you seem to do very well with compared to another, like from a market standpoint?
From a market standpoint,
being competitive.
In terms of like the insurance company?
Yeah,
or just
like being helpful with them, like being able to help them out, write them, save them some money and get them some good coverages.
Yeah, it's kind of a case-to-case basis. I tell everybody I help, I'm like, because we're actually in a big group chat on Facebook, or a group on Facebook with almost like 170,000 people in it. And I always see the question pop up like, I'm paying this, I'm paying this, I'm paying this, someone help me, whatever it may be. And obviously I want to make sure I help them out. But I tell everyone the same thing. I mean, comparing insurance policies is like comparing apples to oranges. Like,
correct.
You never know what's going on. Bad driving record, no insurance history, whatever it may be. There's tons of things that definitely on a case-to-case basis can make a huge difference, and a lot of guys don't consider that. So it's always the up and open question of, how can you help me? It's not really how can I help you, it's where are you at?
Yep, exactly.
And where can I put you where that fits?
Yep.
So.
And that goes right into this question I had for you. So, I mean, again, even though the commercial auto term is very broad, right? There's a ton of different products out there for us. But specifically, like with this Facebook group, that we're on, what are the main carriers that we're putting these guys with now with our agency?
Well, as everyone would know in the group, Progressive. I know, as surprising as it seems, you just always see the commercials for their home and auto. Well, I mean, Progressive pretty much dominates the market with for commercial auto. That's definitely one of the biggest avenues we go down. CoverWell, they're kind of a new startup company in the past year.
Okay.
They've been pretty competitive. And then also Berkshire Hathaway Homestay Companies, Nyco. I mean, there's tons of companies you can put these guys. Yeah, Great West is awesome. Again, it's just case to case, but definitely Progressive is one of the number one companies we put people with. So.
And I guess are a lot of these guys, are they a new authority? Like, have they just gotten into the trucking field, and does that make a big difference?
And honestly, I try to go above and beyond.
Okay.
So whether they're old, new, left, right, east, west, what doesn't really matter. We do see a lot of newer guys kind of getting started. So I try to go above and beyond and making sure they're off on the right foot, not just with insurance, but just helping them out with getting their filings submitted, BOC3s done, UCR registration, if does, whatever it may be. We try to make sure we're guiding them down the right path and getting them all started
that
up.
Seems pretty complicated.
It's a little bit, yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff that goes into that.
It's not much me filling it out, but just making sure they're getting it done.
Yeah.
And they're actually legal and on the road, able to drive. So
how long does that process usually take?
How long?
Like let's say someone wanted to open up a trucking company. How long do you think that takes to get that thing rolling? Do you know?
Let's say they have their LLC already done, and they applied for a DOT number. Okay. There's 21-day waiting period on getting your MC number authorized. Now, it just kind of depends. If you're doing interstate travel, around 21 to 25 days. Okay. And that's if they're really wanting to jump the gun that month. For intrastate, though, you can get started anytime. As long as you just have active insurance and you have all the registrations done for your vehicle. So
gotcha. Okay. No, that's good. And honestly, like it's crazy how much I feel like you've been helping a ton of people out, man. Like your knowledge with it. I mean, that's a huge asset because these guys are paying so much money on their insurance. Like that's probably their biggest expense with their business.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So being able to have you in their back pocket, for little things like that, and us in their back pocket, when it comes to basically helping them with their biggest cost or biggest expenses they have with their business.
And I'm usually pretty upfront with it too. It's just like, let's be honest here, every agent can give numbers, but we really try to go above and beyond and make sure they're on the right path. So.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so that's good. So I guess I did want to ask, and maybe elaborate a little bit on how we operate. So Caleb, I know you're doing basically you're our main sales guy with doing everything from a commercial, from on the commercial auto standpoint. What about after, let's say someone signs up with you, we get them on board, everything's good. What happens after that? Let's say they need to add a vehicle on, add a driver on, take a driver off, whatever that is. Are they reaching out to you, or what does that look like?
Well, we really, really try to push. We have our own account manager here. Her name's Janie.
Okay.
She's freaking awesome. She's killing it. And we really try to give them that person, that one-on-one experience where they're just a phone call away from getting help. Yep. Whether it be adding vehicles, switching drivers, whatever it may be, canceling insurance. Obviously, their go-to person is going to be Janie. Okay. She manages everything outside of me, and obviously I'm always there in case people need me or have any questions. But Janie's awesome in what she does, and she kind of takes over that hands-on process of making sure these guys are down the right path. So
and that probably makes things a little bit more efficient too. If somebody needs something quicker, reaching out to Janie is going to be a little bit faster than reaching out.
Definitely a lot faster. There's better communication because obviously one person handling everything and making sure everything's going straight is going to be able to remember what was going on with the person as opposed to two different people. So
no, that's great, man. And I feel like it's been going really well. I feel like a lot of the guys we have on board, they're really liking that setup.
Yeah.
So. And
even when she's not available,
for sure,
they always have the insurance company to reach out to. But at the same time, Janie's killing it whenever they're there for her. So
okay. Cool. So that's good. So we talked about commercial auto in general. We talked about carriers, states. So what states are we in? Do you know off the top of your head? I can probably name a bunch.
Man, do you want me to just run through all the states?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see if we can get them all.
So Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Maybe Wisconsin. I'm not 100% on that one.
You want to go with?
Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, and...
Say Georgia?
Georgia, yep. That's one of them. North Carolina, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Man.
That's a lot.
You kind of don't really think about it.
You kind of forget.
Yeah.
I forgot which ones you've already said.
I think that's pretty much all of them.
Yeah. There might be a couple that we're missing there, but I feel like... Or Texas. You said Texas, right? Okay,
yep.
So... all your big main states when it comes to anything from a long haul standpoint, we're in.
Yeah.
Right?
So I usually just say like Northeast besides Pennsylvania, and then just the whole entire West Coast is pretty much the only spots we really don't touch. But even if anybody still reaches out, we always send them to the right person to make sure they get helped out.
I was gonna say, I feel like we have contacts in a couple different places that we're not in, so that's always good. What do you think the most, like if a guy's starting to open up a trucking company, where do you think is probably the most expensive place to have an insurance company or a trucking company, and where's probably the least expensive?
Most expensive, Louisiana or Mississippi.
Really?
Yeah. Like I would say average 20 to 30.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the most expensive?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Now again, it's like, there's a lot of factors that go into that, but like with a person with a clean record, pretty, mid-range in age, you would think they'd have a good insurance history.
Okay.
It's pretty expensive.
Okay.
Texas, definitely second on that list.
Okay.
Where else?
I thought Florida was going to be like up
Florida's expensive too, and then so is South Carolina.
there. South Carolina.
Yeah.
Why South Carolina?
I do not know.
It's just
I wish I could know. North Carolina, super cheap. South Carolina, just it's a whole different game. So
that's strange. Okay.
but those are definitely I would say, once you start going north in the Midwest, you're pretty much hitting states that are.
What about the least expensive? Probably Missouri, Kansas.
Kansas is no doubt the least expensive.
Missouri's pretty low.
Missouri's pretty low, but Kansas is by far the cheapest. And so is Colorado's pretty cheap too.
Okay. And that's another thing we do. Like even here in our area, like we have a lot of commercial auto accounts that we insure here that are just local. Like they're just people that are hauling construction equipment from one side of the city to the next.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like that's a big thing. So if anybody needs that, right, we can help them out with that. It doesn't have to just be long haul and interstate stuff and all that.
And some people just don't even insure their vehicles for their business. They'll be running their own personal truck just because they have a lawnmower in the back of their truck that they want to just take places, so they think their business is the lawnmower. Where no, like if you're using it for your business use, it's best to insure it than not.
Yep, exactly. Okay, well that's awesome. I have a couple other questions here for us. So here's a big deal, and we talk about this with our agency, like on the personal lines as well. Is in today's world, we can go online and get quotes, for insurance. We don't necessarily have to have an agent all the time, and I feel like that's a thing sometimes with truckers.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Like sometimes they can go directly to Progressive, they can go directly to certain carriers, Byberg.
Yep.
To get actual quotes.
Yeah.
My question for you is, what's your thoughts on that? Like what is your thoughts on a trucker, or some kind of trucking account going directly to an insurance company and getting their own insurance by themselves?
Yeah, and we talk to a lot of people like this, and I've gotten this question asked me many times: is what is the benefit? Like, why would I not just stay online or kind of handle everything myself? And and to put that in retrospect, it's convenient, 100%. I mean, being able to access your policy and do whatever you want to it, obviously that's convenient. But at the end of the day, you don't have someone by your side making sure things are going right with your policy. You don't have that one-on-one experience. You're always having to call 1-800 number if something does go wrong. Most of these guys, they probably don't even know the first step to a claim. They don't know what to do. I get called about this all the time. Who do I call? What do I do? And they don't even take pictures. They just call. It's just making sure you have someone right by your side, and having the availability that every year you get shopped, and you're having someone make sure they're walking you through their policy, making sure it's as cheap as possible, saving you as much money. You're at a huge disadvantage that you have the convenience, but you're also losing the factor that we definitely go above and beyond and making sure that you're all straight.
But even they can do all those things even if they have an agent.
100%.
Like they can go on and log onto their account. Like they don't have to have us. They can make changes. They can do literally everything that they can do without an agent. With one.
Exactly.
And having an agent is literally just an extra line.
It's someone it's someone on your side, making sure things are going always the way that you want them to go.
Yep.
And that's a great point that you don't lose that opportunity, because I can log into my State Farm app and make changes on my policy if I want to, but I've still got an agent that helps me and make sure that I know what my monthly bill is, and making sure I know what's going on with my policy. So.
No, I think that's super important, and I think we also see it sometimes. And I ask that because I feel like sometimes when we're talking to these guys and we're helping them, sometimes they don't have an agent.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing that if someone doesn't have an agent, they have options there too.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So,
yep.
What does that look like? Like from actually trying to get an agent. So like, let's say someone's listening to this, they do not have an agent that is helping them right now. Like, what are their options?
Well, yeah, they can either find a new insurance company and have an agent shop them out, or reaching out to someone like us directly and just saying, hey, I don't have an agent. I think it's something I would definitely want just to make sure I'm on the right path and I'm saving as much money as possible, and I'm making sure I have someone in my side corner. They can reach out to us, and they can you can basically fill out or kind of request it from the insurance company that person becomes your agent.
Okay.
A lot of guys don't know that, and some people, they think that it just, some people just start a policy and forget. They just want to continue on, make money, which I fully understand. But at the same time, if there's someone right there by your side that can make your life 20 times easier and do stuff for you, why would you not do it?
Yep. And it doesn't change anything on someone's policy.
It doesn't cost anything extra. It's completely free. There's a huge misconception that agents raise premiums, cost extra money. Whatever it may be, that's just not true.
No,
that's a huge
great
myth.
Point. And again, when it comes to, of course, we talked about having the service and all that. That's of course great, but I feel like another thing that's really important is like, you are literally like, let's say there is a bad accident, a freak accident that happens, right? And somebody has been, passed away or whatever that might be, right? That is a very extremely stressful situation.
Yep.
Lawsuits are involved, X, Y, and Z. So in a time like that, you want to, of course, make sure you have somebody to go, side by side with you to work with the insurance company. But to take it 2 or 3 steps back before we even get to that spot, we need to make sure we have all of the coverages where they're at.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And if somebody, like, if I'm talking to somebody who owns a business and it's a trucking business, like, I'm not going to know the ins and outs of that business, right? They're not going to know the ins and outs of the insurance business, right?
Yep.
So how are we supposed to, how are you supposed to really think that, not having an agent is not is basically,
definitely. And kind of the biggest point of that is, a lot of these guys, that I talk to, money is a huge factor. Insurance sucks. At the end of the day, no one wants to pay insurance. But I see people that want to save money in most of the spots possible, whether it be sacrificing coverage or whatever it may be. And, having an agent right by your side, they can make sure and say, hey, like, you do understand this is off, and if something happens, something's going to go wrong, and you guys are responsible for it.
Yep. And it starts at the very beginning. When you're first getting that insurance quote, getting those coverages in place, you want to make sure it's done correctly.
Yep.
Because if there's any gaps and a freak accident does happen, that's what you pay all that money for insurance.
Yep.
And you want to make sure it's covered and it's covered properly and adequately.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So,
and honestly, one of those biggest coverages is physical damage, which I know has nothing to do with accidents and it just covers the vehicle. But there's people out there that don't want to have that coverage because it saves them money. But at the end of the day, the way I always explain this to everybody that I write, no matter what it may be, I always try to put full coverage on there. I always tell them, that you're literally operating out of your truck. That's your business. Why would you not have that?
Correct.
Yep.
So that's good. So if anybody's listening to this and they need an agent, they want an agent, they don't have an agent, there's options out there for you guys.
Definitely.
So reach out, we can help. Okay, a couple other things, and before we get off here. So if a truck is broken down, I feel like I hear this question a lot. Like, guys are driving, truck is broken down. Like, what are their options in that scenario? Because of course, if they're paying for all this money, for that vehicle and it's not working, do they have any options?
That's a very misconceptioned question. You have 3 options, maybe 2. First option is go get a rental and just add it on your vehicle. You really cannot realistically remove a truck from your insurance if you own it or if it's being operated.
Okay.
It's going to be in the shop for a week. We hear this question all the time. Can I take my truck off my policy? It's going to be out in the shop for about a month. Well, sadly, no, because you're going to still be back on the road with it. You still own it, and you're not. As long as you just add a different vehicle on, that's all we can do. Or just get rid of your DOT number and then get which obviously we don't want. We want to make sure they have active insurance. So, and then the second option is if it's fully inoperable, like won't be back on the insurance policy for about a year. It's completely totaled. There's nothing else they can do to it. there's a back order on a part, whatever it may be for a whole year.
Okay.
We can remove it, definitely. But in terms of taking it off there just for a couple weeks, that's not going to happen. Then the third option is just to sell it. If they sell it, they can definitely get rid of it. But broke down, no. You're pretty limited on removing it off your policy. You have to have it on there.
That's unfortunate, but I mean, yeah, and that's I guess that's us doing it, making sure whenever that is asked, like we're doing right by the client. Because if you do remove that, we can of course remove that, but that causes a lot of issues on the back end.
Yeah, it's not even just issues; it's a canceled policy, and now you're trying to find insurance that might be double in price, and that extra $1,000 you might have lost turns into an extra $20,000 on a new policy. So that's one of the biggest.
I feel like that's very important because I feel like some agents would probably just cancel that off. Yeah, okay, whatever, and then not let them know what the
the repercussions of it is. So we fully try to explain to people, what's going on and what could potentially happen with this. So
okay. What about a couple other questions here? So leasing drivers. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Leasing drivers. So. This is a question, in terms of insurance, this is a question I get asked all the time. And actually, recently it's been asked so much, I feel like I just have to say something about it. Can they just get their own insurance policy? I don't want to have them on my policy. I don't feel like I have any need. They're going to be running their own loads, whatever it may be. They have to be on there. If they're operating under your DOT number and they're leasing onto your company, they have to be on your insurance. And the way I put this is their insurance policy would only cover their actions. But if you're working at any place, whether it be Walmart, anywhere else, if you have an accident in that store and you're working for them, you're the liability, and the insurance or that company's got to pay out on it. Okay. You're taking a risk adding an employee underneath you that's going to be running for you. So they have to be on your insurance no matter what. If they're running for you, they have to be. Okay. But openly, can leased-on drivers be removed from an insurance policy? Definitely, just with like a termination of a lease agreement. So
okay.
Yeah, that's definitely a big question that gets asked a lot.
Yeah, and then what about your DOT number being active? What's the benefit of having that DOT active for a long period of time? Like, is it good to? I mean, I guess elaborate
definitely.
on that. You can't just shut it down, right? It's not
definitely shut it down,
turn back up.
Yeah. So I tell this to the new drivers all the time. The first 3 months suck. You're paying high insurance costs and loads kind of suck to get. But after those first, 1 or 2 months where it's kind of just crummy, you're having huge benefits. Having an active DOT means longer authority time, which means you're getting better loads, more loads often, more brokers that will work with you, more carriers, whatever it may be. There's tons of benefits on the actual business side. On the insurance side, having that DOT active for as long as possible means you're going to have cheaper insurance rates at renewal. Again, first year, rough, but sure. Second year definitely, third year definitely. We'll just keep finding better insurance companies when we can, and overall just making sure that even if your vehicle's down and it's out of use, just keep it at 750, just keep it active. You're going to get back into the business, because the huge benefit is if you have a lapse in coverage and your authority goes inactive, brokers are not going to want to work with you. Less loads, less money, and higher insurance costs. So
yeah, that's a good point. And I feel like and you tell me if this is right or not, but I almost compare that, because of course we all have an insurance score, and I've always compared an insurance score kind of to a credit score, right? If you're 16 years old, you've never had a loan, and you go to the bank to try to buy your first car, and you have zero credit, the interest rate's going to be super, super high. Well, when you're 10 years down the road, when you've had credit, you've proved to banks that you can pay these loans off, and you pay them on time, and X, Y, and Z. Your credit score gets better.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
The next time you go to get a loan, your credit or your interest rate is lower, right?
Yep.
Same thing on the insurance, right? You have an insurance score. So when you're first driving, right, first starting a business, first whatever that is, getting your DOT number, those rates on the insurance side are going to be more, because the insurance company doesn't have that data in the back, or from the past to rate you.
Because they're looking at you like a high risk. They just don't know what to go off.
They just don't know what to go off. So they're starting you here, and then as you get farther along and have more insurance history and history with everything you're doing with your business, those rates should
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that this market's a little wild right now with interest
Yes.
rates, but they should gradually go down.
Yep.
Where you get more into a stable rate.
Yep.
Where it's not as high as somebody who's just getting into the
And
ballgame.
that just comes right back to the question of why is this guy paying less than me and why am I paying
Correct.
more? And that's exactly the reason for it.
Yep.
So
That's good. Okay. Here's another one I feel like we get a lot. Can you switch midterm? Let's say somebody they have a 12-month policy, right? And 4 months in, they're like, you know what? I'm done with this company. I don't like my agent. I don't like this company. Like, what are their options, if any?
yeah, I see that, anytime I get asked this question, there's two things that happen. Number one is, 100% yes, you can switch midterm. Now, will insurance companies accept a midterm switch? That's, again, something we'd have to look at for you.
It's pretty hit and miss, isn't it?
It is a hit and miss thing. If you're an unacceptable risk to them because you're switching midterm, which is possible, then obviously you're kind of stuck with who you're with. But the second thing is we do find you an option, and that's available, and it is cheaper. It's saving you tons of money. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. As long as you keep those filings active, you show no lapse in coverage, and you're just continuing on with an insurance policy, yeah, you might be switching too soon, but at the same time, if it saves you money in the long run and you're staying with the company a lot longer just because of the rates, then definitely, there's nothing wrong with switching midterm.
Yeah. Do you see that a lot? Like, does that happen a lot for you?
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot.
What is the reason why people are wanting to switch? Is it because of...
Usually it's rates.
Gotcha.
Definitely rates, and
Like
sometimes
rates have gone up, or they've added a truck on, or...
No, yeah. Sometimes it's added the truck, and now it's
crazy
triple.
high. Yeah.
Because now the insurance company's like, well, you've only been in business for 3 months. Why are you adding on a second truck? And sometimes it's the agent. Sometimes agencies just don't do a great job at what they do, and then just obviously sometimes they get rid of the company that just sucks, service-wise or whatever it may be. So
yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, anything else you want to add to any of this?
No, I
feel like that was a pretty good conversation.
I think those are some of the biggest questions we probably get asked.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, Caleb, thanks for coming on with your expertise here. I feel like this has been very helpful, and hopefully that anybody who's listening to this,
long haul or not,
let us know. We'd love to work with you.
Definitely.
Again, I think I can't believe you named almost all of those states. We're in 33 states, and I think you might have named all of them.
I don't think I missed one.
Really?
I don't think
the only people who know is the people listening, because they're going to be able to count them as you go. I couldn't keep up with it. So.
Yeah, we're only in, there's a cluster of 8 in total, right?
We're in more states than
we're definitely in 35 or 36, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. We are 36.
Because we got access to a couple more.
Florida was a big one. We just got access to Florida.
Yep, and then we got, what was it, Utah?
Was it? Yeah, Utah. Yeah.
No, not Nevada.
Nevada?
Yeah, it was Nevada.
Okay.
Yep, we got access to Nevada too.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, Caleb. Well, thank you. Yellow Colored Glasses, episode 53. Over and out.
Awesome. Thank you.
See you guys.